Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Spooky English Podcast. I'm Jake.
And I'm Lauren. Today we're talking about something really interesting, ghosts and supernatural things.
And for anyone who's new here, let me explain what Spooky English is all about. This podcast is designed for people who want to practice their English listening skills while learning about supernatural and spooky topics.
That's right. We speak slowly and use simple, clear English so you can understand everything easily. We talk about ghosts, supernatural stories, and mysterious events from around the world.
Exactly. So if you're learning English, you can improve your listening while hearing fascinating spooky stories. It's educational and entertaining at the same time. And don't worry, we explain difficult words when we use them.
I love that. So let's start with our first topic. Jake, I know you're really interested in supernatural things. Do you believe in ghosts?
Oh, I absolutely do. I totally believe in ghosts, Lauren. What about you? Do you believe in them?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Part of me wants to believe, but part of me thinks maybe it's just our imagination.
Really?
Yeah, I watch ghost movies and I get scared, but in the daytime, I think, are they really real?
Well, let me tell you something interesting. Did you know that many people believe in ghosts? According to surveys, about 45% of Americans believe in ghosts.
Wow, 45%? That's almost half of all people.
Exactly. And in Britain, it's even more. About 52% of British people believe in ghosts, so you're not alone if you're curious about this topic.
That's really surprising to me. I thought most people would be like, no, ghosts aren't real.
Right, but the numbers show something different. And Lauren, there are so many ghost stories from around the world. Some of them are really famous and well documented.
Okay, now I'm getting curious. Tell me about one of these famous stories.
Perfect. Let me tell you about the Enfield haunting. This is one of the most famous ghost stories ever. It happened in England in the 1970s.
The 1970s? So this is pretty recent, not like hundreds of years ago.
Exactly. This happened in 1977 in a town called Enfield, which is near London. There was a family living in a normal house, a mother and her 4 children.
Okay, just a regular family.
Right, just regular people. But then strange things started happening in their house. First, they heard loud knocking sounds on the walls. Then furniture started moving by itself.
Moving by itself? Like no one was touching it?
That's what they said. Chairs would slide across the room, beds would shake, and heavy furniture would move to different places in the house.
Oh my God, that sounds terrifying. What did the family do?
Well, they were really scared, of course. But here's what makes this story special. They called investigators to help them. These investigators took photos and recorded sounds.
So there's actual evidence?
That's what the investigators claimed. They said they recorded strange voices and took pictures of objects flying through the air. One of the children, an 11-year-old girl named Janet, would sometimes speak in a deep old man's voice.
Wait, an 11-year-old girl speaking like an old man? That's really weird.
Right. And the voice claimed to be the ghost of an old man who had died in that house many years before. The voice would answer questions and tell stories about his life.
But Jake, couldn't the girl just be pretending? Maybe she was playing a game or trying to get attention.
That's a good question, and some people think exactly that. But the investigators said they watched her very carefully. They said her mouth wasn't moving when the voice spoke.
Her mouth wasn't moving? That's impossible, right? You can't talk without moving your mouth.
Well, that's what makes it so mysterious. The investigators also said they saw the girl being lifted up in the air by invisible hands and thrown across the room.
Thrown across the room by invisible hands? Jake, this sounds like a movie, not real life.
I know it sounds crazy, but many people witnessed these things. The police came to the house, and even they saw strange things happening. Newspaper reporters also came and wrote about it.
The police saw it too?
Yes, one police officer said she saw a chair slide across the room with no one near it. She was so scared that she never wanted to go back to that house again.
Wow, so how long did all of this continue? Did it ever stop?
The strange events continued for about 18 months. That's a year and a half. Then slowly, everything went back to normal. The ghost seemed to go away.
18 months of living with a ghost? I can't imagine how scary that would be. But Jake, what do you think really happened? Do you think it was a real ghost?
Absolutely. I think it was a real ghost. Too many people saw these things for it to be fake. Police officers, investigators, reporters, they all witnessed supernatural events.
Mm-hmm.
And Lauren, think about this. Why would a normal family make up such a crazy story? What would they gain from it?
That's a good point. They didn't become rich or famous from this, right? They just had to deal with reporters and people calling them liars.
Exactly. They actually had a very difficult time. Many people didn't believe them, and some people said terrible things about the family.
So, if it wasn't real, they suffered for nothing. But Jake, I still have questions. Maybe there's a scientific explanation we don't understand yet?
Maybe, but Lauren, science can't explain everything. There are still so many mysteries in our world. What if ghosts are just something science hasn't figured out yet?
That's true. 100 years ago, people didn't understand radio waves or electricity. Maybe ghosts are like that. Real, but we don't understand how they work.
Yes, and Lauren, here's something interesting. The Enfield haunting inspired movies and TV shows. There's a famous movie called The Conjuring 2 that tells this story.
Oh, I think I've heard of that movie. It's a horror movie, right? I'm too scared to watch horror movies.
Yes, it's pretty scary, but it shows how this story is still interesting to people today, almost 50 years later.
That's true. People are still fascinated by ghost stories. But Jake, after hearing about the Enfield haunting, I'm still not sure what I believe.
And that's okay. You don't have to decide right now. The important thing is to keep an open mind.
Right. I think it's okay to say, I don't know. Maybe some ghost stories are real, and maybe some are not. Each story is different.
Absolutely. And there are so many more fascinating supernatural stories we could talk about. What do you think, Lauren? Should we do more episodes about ghosts and supernatural topics?
Yeah, I think our listeners would enjoy that. Even if I'm not sure I believe in ghosts, these stories are really interesting to discuss.
Perfect. We have so many more stories to share. Ghost stories from different countries, other types of supernatural experiences, and maybe some personal stories from our listeners.
Oh, that would be great. If any of our listeners have ghost stories, we'd love to hear them.
And speaking of listener stories, Lauren, I actually want to share something else fascinating about the Enfield case. What many people don't know is that there were other paranormal investigators involved, not just the famous ones we hear about in movies.
Oh, really? I thought Ed and Lorraine Warren were the main investigators. Who else was involved?
Well, the Warrens were involved, but the primary investigators were actually Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair from the Society for Psychical Research. These guys spent months in that house, documenting everything. Grosse was actually a skeptic when he first arrived, but after witnessing the phenomena firsthand, he became convinced it was genuine paranormal activity.
A skeptic who changed his mind? That's pretty significant. What convinced him?
Grosse documented over 1,500 separate incidents during his investigation. He recorded voices, photographed objects in mid-flight, and witnessed furniture moving on its own. But what really got to him was the consistency of the phenomena. Day after day, Week after week, the same types of events kept happening, and he couldn't find any logical explanation for them. He even brought in other experts, physicists, magicians, audio specialists, and none of them could debunk what was happening.
1,500 incidents? That's wow. But Jake, I have to ask, couldn't it still be some kind of elaborate hoax? Maybe the family was really clever about it?
That's the thing, Lauren. The investigators were constantly looking for signs of fraud. They installed motion detectors, set up cameras in multiple rooms, and even had periods where they watched the family 24 hours a day. Some of the most dramatic events happened when the children were being observed directly. Janet, the girl who spoke in the old man's voice, was tested by speech therapists who confirmed that the voice was physically impossible for someone her age and gender to produce naturally.
Speech therapists confirmed it was impossible? That's really hard to explain away. But this brings up something I've been wondering about. Do these kinds of hauntings happen in other cultures too, or is this mainly a Western thing?
Great question. Ghost stories and paranormal experiences are actually found in every culture around the world. In Japan, they have poltergeist-like phenomena, similar to Enfield. In India, there are documented cases of possession and supernatural occurrences that match Western accounts almost exactly. What's fascinating is that people who have never heard of the Enfield haunting describe identical experiences: furniture moving, strange voices, objects flying through the air.
That's really fascinating. It makes you wonder what else might be out there that we don't fully understand yet. That makes sense. And you know what, Jake? I'm realizing that I might have had my own unexplained experience. When I was a teenager, I lived in this old house, and sometimes I'd hear footsteps upstairs when nobody was home. I always explained it away as the house settling or pipes creaking, but maybe there was more to it? You're right. They were definitely footsteps, like someone walking from one room to another upstairs. And it happened regularly, not just once or twice. I never told anyone because I thought they'd think I was crazy. But hearing about cases like Enfield makes me think maybe I shouldn't have dismissed it so quickly.
And that's exactly why we need to talk about these topics more openly. So many people have had experiences like yours, Lauren, but they keep them to themselves because of social stigma. Imagine if we could collect and study all these experiences scientifically. We might discover patterns or explanations that could revolutionize our understanding of consciousness, life after death, or the nature of reality itself. So, everyone, if you enjoyed today's first episode of Spooky English Podcast, please like and subscribe for future content. We're planning more episodes about supernatural topics, and we don't want you to miss them.
Yes, and tell us in the comments, do you believe in ghosts? Have you ever experienced something supernatural? We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories.
Thanks for listening to our first episode of Spooky English, everyone. Keep an open mind about the mysteries in our world.
See you next time, and sweet dreams if you can sleep after hearing about the Enfield haunting.